Illuminati. The name itself sounds like a forbidden whisper in an old library. A secret group said to have shaped modern history from the shadows. In reality, they began in 1776 in Bavaria as a society of intellectuals who wanted to push back against superstition and absolute church power. But secrets love to dress themselves in grander clothes. Soon the Illuminati were accused of engineering the French Revolution, infiltrating governments, and centuries later, even running Hollywood. Few people know this. The association between the Eye of Providence and the Illuminati only became popular in the 20th century. Before that, it was simply a Christian symbol. The myth consumed the symbol, and the symbol consumed reality. Here's the strange detail. The real Illuminati lasted less than 10 years. But the myth? That never died. It became fuel for every conspiracy theory that followed. Area 51. A patch of desert in Nevada that became the favorite stage for aliens, military secrets, and stories that never fade. Officially, the site was used to test experimental aircraft during the Cold War, like the U-2 and the SR-71 Blackbird. Planes so fast and so high, they seemed not of this world. But in 1947, a crash in Roswell, New Mexico, planted the seed. Mysterious debris, the military sealing off the area, and eyewitnesses speaking of metallic objects no one could explain. The government denied it too much. And the more they denied, the more people believed. Suddenly, Area 51 became synonymous with hangars full of flying saucers and alien autopsies. What few realize is that the CIA only officially acknowledged Area 51 in 2013. 7 decades of silence were enough for the myth to grow far larger than any truth. Flat Earth. One of humanity's oldest ideas that, against all evidence, found new life in the age of the Internet. In ancient times, civilizations like the Babylonians believed the world was a disk floating in cosmic waters. But by the time of the Greeks, simple calculations with shadows and horizons already proved Earth's curvature. And yet, in the 21st century, forums revived the claim that it's all fake. The planet is flat, space is an invention, and NASA is nothing more than a factory of lies. The impact is real. This isn't just a naive belief. It's a global community that rejects every scientific proof, as if on a crusade against reality itself. And here's the twist. Most flat earthers today don't believe in an endless pancake world. They imagine Earth surrounded by walls of ice. Antarctica, the edge of a cosmic stage no one can cross. The moon landing, humanity's greatest leap, and at the same time, one of its favorite conspiracies. The accusation surfaced right after 1969 that NASA staged it all in a studio, maybe even directed by Stanley Kubrick using lights and fake sets. Skeptics point to the details: the American flag appearing to wave in a vacuum, shadows that don't line up, and the missing stars in the lunar sky. Each of these has an explanation. The flag had a horizontal bar to hold it up, shadows warp on uneven ground, and the cameras couldn't capture the faint light of stars. And yet, suspicion stuck. Even today, polls show about 1 in 10 Americans believe the astronauts never left Earth. That's the power of a good conspiracy. Evidence matters less than doubt. Chemtrails. Those white streaks across the sky that, for some, aren't just vapor, but chemical trails released on purpose. Science explains it simply. Condensation. Jet engines release water vapor that freezes into ice crystals, creating linear clouds. But the conspiracy explanation? Much darker. The claim is that governments and corporations use those trails to manipulate the weather, control minds, or even reduce the world's population. Science fiction written across the sky. The impact was real. Protests erupted demanding an end to chemtrails, and even politicians questioned legitimate geoengineering programs because of it. The funny thing? Serious studies analyzed hundreds of air samples and found nothing but normal pollution. But suspicion remains because when we look up and see lines across the sky, our imagination fills in the rest. New World Order. 2 words that sound like a secret password whispered in the halls of power. The idea that there's a global plan to merge governments, economies, and even cultures under a single hidden authority. The roots trace back to the 20th century, when politicians used the phrase New World Order in speeches about global cooperation. But every mention was reinterpreted as proof of conspiracy. For many, the suspects are the usual ones: Illuminati, international bankers, secret societies. A chessboard where the players are invisible, but every move is theirs. The impact is huge. This theory connects nearly all the others: wars, pandemics, economic collapses, all seen as pieces of a single choreographed plan. And here's the irony. Real documents of cooperation, like United Nations treaties, became fuel for paranoia. Fear didn't grow from lack of information, but from drowning in too much of it. John F. Kennedy, November 22, 1963. A young, charismatic president in an open-top car in Dallas. 3 shots, a shocked nation, and a conspiracy theory that never died. The official story is clear. Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, firing from a book depository. But for millions, that explanation always felt too thin. Eyewitnesses swore shots came from multiple directions. The grassy knoll, that little hill, became almost a character in the mystery. Then came the theories: the mafia, the CIA, Cuban exiles, the Soviets. Everyone had a motive to silence JFK. His death became a mirror for America's deepest fears. In 2017, classified files were released, but they settled nothing. If anything, the more the government reveals, the more people believe the real secret is still locked away. Reptilians. Perhaps the most bizarre modern theory: that world leaders, celebrities, and royalty aren't human at all, but shape-shifting alien lizards in disguise. The idea took off in the 1990s thanks to David Icke, who claimed a reptilian race infiltrated Earth thousands of years ago and has manipulated history ever since. Supporters point to ancient serpent gods and dragon myths as clues, and to modern evidence like a strange eye blink caught on camera. The cultural impact is undeniable. Memes, music, and shows all play with the idea. It's political paranoia mixed with science fiction, giving people an enemy not just hidden, but inhuman. And millions believe it literally, not as metaphor, but as reality. A fantastic explanation for a world that always feels controlled by unseen hands. Big Pharma. 2 words that conjure up the image of a trillion-dollar industry caring more about profit than people. For conspiracy theorists, pharmaceutical companies don't just sell medicine. They control disease itself. The claim is that real cures for cancer, HIV, maybe even aging, already exist but are suppressed because treatments are more profitable than solutions. The suspicion grew from real scandals: drugs with hidden side effects, opioids pushed irresponsibly, life-saving treatments priced out of reach. The impact is devastating. Millions lose trust in vaccines and proven treatments, convinced every doctor is just a cog in a larger machine. Science turns into suspicion. And studies show these beliefs are strongest in countries where healthcare is most expensive. The bigger the gap between people and medicine, the more room for doubt to grow. 5G, the promise of lightning-fast internet, and the new villain of modern conspiracies. To some, these towers aren't just transmitters of data, but tools of surveillance, and even mind control. The fear exploded during the pandemic. Rumors spread that 5G weakened immune systems or even transmitted the virus. Baseless claims, but as viral as the disease itself. The older claim is more sci-fi, that invisible frequencies can alter thoughts, change behavior, or track every citizen in real time. The impact was tangible. Towers were burned down across Europe, and technicians attacked simply for installing antennas. And here's the twist. Science shows certain frequencies can affect biology under extreme conditions, but cell phone signals don't carry that kind of energy. Still, in the public imagination, physics blurs into conspiracy. HAARP. 4 letters that seem harmless, yet carry the weight of one of the most enduring conspiracy theories about controlling the planet. Officially, it was a program in Alaska to study the ionosphere and space weather. But to believers, those antennas aren't science, they're weapons. A machine to manipulate storms, trigger earthquakes, even control human minds with radio waves. Every natural disaster, hurricanes, tsunamis, droughts, finds someone pointing to HAARP as the hidden culprit, as if nature itself had been outsourced to secret engineers. And here's the detail. The program officially shut down in 2014, but instead of killing suspicion, that only fueled it. For many, the end was just proof that something continues in secret. The Mandela effect, a phenomenon that plays with collective memory. Thousands swear they remember something that never happened, or happened differently in another timeline. It gets its name from Nelson Mandela. Many people were convinced he died in prison in the 1980s, when in fact he was released and became South Africa's president in the 1990s. But that's only one case. The Coca-Cola logo, Pikachu's missing tail stripe, the line, "Luke, I am your father," which was never actually said. Tiny details that challenge our trust in memory. Psychologists explain it as false memories spreading and reinforcing within groups. But for conspiracy theorists, it's proof of something bigger. Parallel universes colliding, timelines bleeding into each other. The impact is subtle but powerful. It makes us doubt our own minds. And if even our memories can't be trusted, what's left that feels solid in the world we live in? See in the next video, the Bermuda Triangle, an imaginary stretch between Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. And perhaps the most feared patch of ocean on Earth. Ships vanish, planes disappear, entire crews swallowed by nothing. No radio, no wreckage, no trace.